Hi there, greetings and salutations. My name is Jake Query is my name.
Wow, you want to start over?
No, that's all right.
You
My
want to
name
start
is
over,
Jake Query. No, that's fine. Hi there, greetings and salutations. My name is Jake Query. That is Derek Schultz.
Hi.
It is the incredibly creatively and appropriately named Query and Schultz program here on the ISC Sports Network. I got tripped up because I was trying to think of what numbered show this is. Are we beyond 250?
Yeah. The thing is that everyone else, like the ISC crews, just kind of mailed it in. We're in season 6 now. This is technically the season 6 debut. Hi, welcome, season
really?
6. And we're not even like, remember like the first couple of shows we did, it was like if anything happened, and we're not even getting stuff in post anymore. We used to get stuff in post. When I say we're going to get that in post, we never get stuff in post. These guys never do anything to get stuff in post back there. Vince is just like, whatever. He doesn't even care.
What are you saying? We're on cruise control? Well,
So now you say, hi, my name is Jake Quail Feathers, blah, 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 and we're just going to roll with that. Like, this is the product that we're putting out now. That's sad. That's sad. I don't know. I thought we demanded excellence on Query and Schultz. I thought that was part of this brand, but apparently not. So here we go.
We are aligned with excellence. Bailey and Wood, excellent.
Yes, I agree.
The best in terms of mortgages, right? Mm-hmm. Chateau Kitchens, the very best in terms of making sure that your kitchen, your house, whatever design you have in mind is there for you. Hoagies and Hops is the best in terms of being able to enjoy a fabulous meal right there inside of your kitchen.
Delicious Sando.
And then you can enjoy it with a chili water cold beer.
Yep.
Right there, the very best.
And one more. Our friends, the IU and D Jaguars, are back.
I love that.
Yeah. Tis the season for college athletics. So we'll have our first Jags report coming up a little bit later on.
I'm on board with that.
Yeah. I had a big win last night at Butler. My kid was doing baseball practice, and I heard it on the loudspeaker from the Selleck Bowl, and Jags ended up beating Butler last night in men's soccer.
Really?
How about that? Yeah, 1-0. Good for them.
0-1.
No, it's not tennis, bud.
Okay, where was the game? The match?
The match was at Butler.
Whose pitch?
Butler's. Selleck Bowl. Midtown.
Okay, so then in that case, it would be 0-1.
No.
Yeah, because home team goes you say the you say the home team second.
Yeah.
So
it doesn't matter. I mean,
1-0.
You don't do the common rule of thumb is outside of like tennis, you just don't do the lower score first. Drives me absolutely nuts.
IU Indy have won.
Can I tell you? Well, that too, because we're not in England. Can I tell you something else that drives me nuts? This is very nitpicky. The Colts social media account is starting to do all lowercase, which is fine. Do not put my name in lowercase letters. I'm not saying that as like an ego thing. Names in lowercase letters looks like you're a toddler. Like, I'm a baby, in Jake Query, lowercase. Come on. Capitalize your letters. You teach a first grader to do that, okay?
Fair.
Capitalize names.
I've noticed this, Derek, and then we'll get off the cloud here that I'm yelling at.
Yeah, this is like cloud yelling session to start
I understand it. I understand it totally. But like social media in general, there are a lot of things about social media that are decaying society, but one of them is the vernacular by which we speak. It drives me crazy now how people, instead of saying like, what are you eating for dinner tonight? It's where you eat.
Yeah,
I mean, I get that we now correspond in abbreviated form
because of text.
But can we not speak and communicate in that?
I do think that there is something that's kind of fun and informal. Like you're not writing a term paper, right? It's Twitter. But there has to be some level of
correct.
Like
decorum. Correct.
Yeah, when you're communicating, there has to be something. You don't need proper punctuation or all that. And if you want to do like, I've done all lowercase tweets where I'm being sarcastic, but I've never put a name in lowercase. Your name is your name. Like that, those need to be uppercase letters in somebody's name.
My only problem with the Colts social media is and I get it, but they clearly paid for like some sort of an algorithm thing, but like they're spamming me.
Oh, really?
I'm getting like season ticket things, and like every third thing now is like something from the Colts.
I remember when they had a waiting list for those. I'm old enough to remember that.
Yeah.
I'm old enough to remember. Speaking of the Colts, football week.
It's here, baby.
It's here. Lucas Oil Stadium will be the opener Sunday against the Dolphins. Indy, a very slight favorite, 1.5, as we tape this show very early Tuesday morning. Their opening winless streak dates back to the 2013 season. They have not won an opener. Now, it's not a losing streak because, remember, they tied
Houston, right?
They tied Houston in 2022, which was a big red flag for that season in week 1 for that to happen. Can you name the last team that they defeated in the season opener?
Is it an AFC team?
Yes.
Is it a divisional rival?
No.
Peculiar. Is it a former divisional rival?
No.
That eliminates us now down. Is
You
it?
get like one more question, bud. There's only a couple of teams in the AFC that we're talking about here.
Is it a division that has more than one team west of the Mississippi?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will guess the last time that they won a season opener, they defeated the Raiders.
Yeah, it was the Raiders. Yeah. I mean, you narrowed it down after 7 questions, but
See
can
the
you name the
brilliance of that,
quarterback?
For the Colts? Or
No,
for
the Colts would be Andrew Luck, obviously, 2013, but for the Raiders. This is a great one. It is my favorite. I'm actually kind of hoping that the Colts season opening losing or non-winning streak continues just because I love having this one in my bag. It is a great trivia question.
Was this a quarterback that had prominence anywhere?
On the college level.
Terrell Pryor.
Yeah. Okay. That was, you already knew, but that's cool that you slow played it. Isn't that funny? Because when you think of Pryor, you don't even think of quarterback.
Look at the big brain on Jake.
I made a mistake by doing that trivia question. He mostly played receiver in the NFL, right? But yeah, Terrell Pryor was the opposing quarterback. That's how long it's been. But I do think, Jake, in 17 games, right? And seasons go like this, ebbs and flows. If this team is going to make the playoffs, you have to beat a team like Miami, who is exactly, I mean, when the Colts look in the mirror,
That's fair.
that's who they see. That's where they are. You talk about stuck in the middle, buddy. Miami has lived there. Really, I mean, you take out 1972, and they've basically lived there for the most part. You know, even the Marino years. I know they were in the playoffs and things like that every year. They never actually did much of anything. They went to a Super Bowl and lost. But you talk about the 21st century Dolphins, man. It's 7-9, 8-8 every year.
That's fair.
I mean, that's who they are. They're never good. They're never bad. They're just there. And sorry if Mike Wood is watching the show. I know he loves the Dolphins, but really, like, can you think of a team where you're just like,
Minnesota.
they're fine? No, but Minnesota plays in NFC Championship games, Jake. The Dolphins haven't won a playoff game in a quarter century. Vikings are in the playoffs all the time.
Pittsburgh.
Like the last 2 years, maybe. But the Steelers stuck in the... Come on, man. The Steelers?
The Steelers are Mike Tomlin is the proverbial 500 coach. He's never been under 500, okay, but he's right at 9-8 every year.
But like they've got the camera set on me because I'm just incredulous here. No, the Steelers would not be the Dolphins comp. Lately, like the last 2 or 3 years, yes, but that's kind of where the Colts have been too. It feels like one of those, if the Colts are going to win the division, they've got to win the 50-50 games. And this feels like a real, and maybe even Denver week 2, because you're at home, even though I think most people regard Denver as being better than the Colts.
Denver, there's another one.
50-50.
After Elway, Denver.
They won a Super Bowl after Elway.
The last 20.
They went to a couple.
The Broncos?
Yeah, with Peyton, bud.
Oh, God, yeah, you're right. I forgot about man. Well, that was like a 2 year. That was like a 2 year window, right?
They went to 2 Super Bowls in that window, though.
Yeah.
Since 2015, yes. I mean, have they won a playoff game since 2015? I don't think so.
They just seem to be another one that's always searching for. Oh, it's Brock Osweiler. Oh, it's and I know that some of this is pre-Peyton, but oh, it's Jake the Snake. Oh, it's Drew Lock. They're constantly chasing it, right?
Yeah. Remember Paxton Lynch?
Yeah, Paxton Lynch is another one.
Yes, they have not won a playoff game since 2015. They finally went back. They got creamed by the Bills, but they went back to the playoffs for the first time since the Peyton era.
Bottom line is this. The Colts have some question marks. Is quarterback one of them? I don't know. I think they have a quarterback that's a game manager, but do they have enough talent around him to manage game? That's going to be a question. The other thing I find peculiar is this. They are now going into a situation where, while I like the talent level that they have in this room, Derek, they are going out there with 2 corners that did not even start on the Colts in training camp. I mean, they've gone out now and had to, Juju Brents was released. That was a little bit of surprise. Jalen Jones is hurt. They go out, and I'll give them credit. I mean, they went out and spent money, and they got players that have experience at the position, but not necessarily experience with this particular defense, with this particular group around them. Are they going to be susceptible to allow for Tua, for example, to have a big game to start things off? And then I do like their receiving room, but some of those receivers are deep ball receivers, and I don't know that they have a deep ball quarterback. It just feels like we are being set up for another year of, okay, great, they're the Orlando Magic. Just good enough to flirt with the postseason, but everybody knows they're not going to make any noise there. And that's a dangerous place to live in the National Football League.
Yeah, I mean, they're the Dolphins. And I think something else that is a big red flag for me is that I think if you took the Colts' top 7 or 8 players, I think it compares actually pretty favorably with the rest of the NFL. The problem is that if you said, okay, now expand that to 25, now expand that to 30, now to 40, that's when the Colts start going down the list, and these other teams are above them. There's no depth. If they take an injury, if Grover Stewart or DeForest Buckner gets hurt, they're screwed. If Charvarius Ward gets hurt, they're screwed. If Zaire Franklin gets hurt,
most teams in the NFL.
Yes,
I mean, the NFL is a difficult place to have a lot of depth. The bottom line is this. Okay, the bottom line is the Colts have give me a car that is a nice car that somebody pulls in. You go. I mean, not that you go, whoa, that guy's. But a neighbor pulls in with this car, and you go, that's a nice car.
A Lexus?
Okay, a Lexus. So the Colts are a 2024 Lexus, a 2024 Lexus, right? Mm-hmm. Nice car. It's got a nice sunroof on it. They went out and they bought the entertainment package that has XM and all the push button everything, and I mean, it's really nice. Yeah. The inside of it's nice, leather interior.
Oh, fancy.
Right?
Yeah.
All of it. Nice wheels. It's got the little the tire rack on the top. It's got every option that you want. But the engine, 110,000 miles and occasionally rattles. The most important position is the quarterback. And they have a quarterback. The Colts are a Lexus with a 2018 Ford Fusion engine in it.
Yeah, and it's not just
Daniel Jones he's not terrible, but he's just there, right?
And it's not just the quarterback in the sense that they've gotten better at these positions, but the other real key positions, wide receiver. It's a good wide receiver room. There's not a game breaker there. Michael Pittman's not a top 20.
There could be
top 25
there could be
wide
game
receiver.
Breakers if they had, but you are correct. They have game breakers in the fact of they have to get it behind a defense and then get the ball thrown to them. In terms of like a Jamar Chase, get him in the flat and just let him go, yeah.
Yeah, they don't have a guy that keeps you up at night. At edge, they have some good players. Kwity Paye is a fine player. We don't know about Latu. Maybe he emerges this year, but they don't have somebody that's emerged there yet. So when you talk about like the real key positions and the impact positions, the Colts have gotten better in those areas, but they're not where some of these other teams are. So that's something else that gives you a little bit of pause. But, if I squint really hard, and you could say this about every Colts season the last 5, 6, 7 years, if I squint really hard, they could win the division. You could talk me into this team going 10-7.
Yeah.
Everything would have to go right, but you could talk me into this team going 10-7, and I can see what their feeling is on what Shane Steichen's feeling is on Jones in the sense that there's less volatility there, but it's just hard to see. I mean, Jake, you talk about this all the time. What's their ceiling? Even if everything goes right, what's their ceiling? This isn't a Super Bowl team, barring something extremely unforeseen. And this probably isn't even a team that can win multiple playoff games. But you're just trying to go out there and survive. This is about survival. It's survival for Ballard. It's survival for Steichen. It's survival for everybody. Jones is in a contract year, right? And he's on his now 3rd team, but real second shot to be a QB1 again and start it. I mean, guys, butts on the line. That's what I said. That's been the theme of the offseason. Butts on the line.
Are they? Whose?
Yeah. I think you can say that. Look, we don't know because Carly and the daughters, we don't have a track record to say, okay, this is how they feel about this. Whereas, with Jim, you had decades of decision-making to kind of fall back on. But, Jake, every decision that they've made shows a sense of urgency. Not starting Richardson, sense of urgency. Cutting Juju Brents or cutting some of the younger players for veteran players or bringing in veteran players off the street, sense of urgency.
Fair.
They know what's going on. I think they know what's on the line for them. Ballard's job it's never been alluded to the fact that he's on the hot seat, but his most patient defender is no longer with us.
When Chris Ballard had his press conference, and I can't remember if we've spoken since then.
Yeah, actually, I don't think we have. That was Wednesday, right? That was the day
I
after.
thought he's always a little bit, let me just say this. I have nothing against Chris Ballard as a person. I don't know Chris Ballard. I've maybe said hi to him twice. I've sat in press conferences twice, maybe. I don't know him. So it's totally disingenuous and unfair for me to say that I know him as a person or as a human being. I have heard stories of Chris Ballard out in the community of being a pretty good guy, nice guy.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Ballard as an executive and as a face of the franchise, I think comes off boorish and smarter than everybody else. But he doesn't have the track record to act that way. And the reason I say it is not because he hasn't won a playoff game in forever, not because everybody else in the division has won multiple crowns since his team has, but I've sat in on or been peripherally witness to press conferences with Bill Tobin, Bill Polian, Jim Irsay,
Ryan
Grigson, Donnie Walsh, Larry Bird, Kevin Pritchard, Chad Buchanan. This guy's the most condescending of any of them. He's gruff, he's condescending, he's deflective, and I don't know if that's just because that's inherently how he is, or if it's because he is totally insecure. And some people told me, they're like, "No, Jake, you're being hypersensitive to it." Oh, okay, I'm just telling you that, like, when I'm listening to it and people are asking him questions and he does the laughter and then kind of throws it back at him, he's kind of entitled to it, and I get it. But at the same time, like, win something, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's because he's just naturally insecure or if it's because he feels the pressure that he hasn't won anything and the time is now. But either one is a tough place to be if you are a sports executive. And I just think a lot of people are kind of over it.
Yeah, I think in the past when he's done stuff like that, it's been more playful, and him addressing Stephen Holder the way that he did and James Boyd the way that he did wasn't playful. That was sarcastic, like, clearly you weren't listening to me because I just answered this question, or why you held. What I don't get, Jake, is this was the first time that he had spoken to the media since the quarterback decision. What does he think he's going to get asked?
That's what I mean.
Obviously, Chris Ballard's been in the NFL for like 20 years, even before the Colts. Like, what did he think was going to be asked? That's why I was surprised with how defensive he was. We've seen Ballard fall on the sword before. He was not falling on the sword for anything during that press conference, and I kind of agree with you. It rubbed me the wrong way. I don't think it was the proper way to handle it. I understand that anybody in his position would be tired of answering the same question over and over again. I get it, but you have to understand that's part of the game, and that's what's coming.
Derek, he only meets with the media, 4 times a year? I mean, Bill Polian did a weekly show. So if you're only answering questions or talking once every quarter, then you have to anticipate that there's going to be a lot of stuff like, why are you bringing this stuff up that's so old? Yeah. Because that's the first time I've had a chance to ask you about it.
Yeah, and people are interested about quarterback. They're not interested, hey, why did you hang on to Isaiah Land? You know what I mean?
Right.
That's not going to be a question that you get there. So, and the explanation, the Colts plan.
If I'm Chris Ballard, I don't want to talk about Anthony Richardson either because it's a total failure. Yeah. They failed him as an organization. They failed him as a coaching staff. They failed him as a front office. They failed him because he comes out and he says, Anthony's come miles from day one. He's come miles from day one. So what you're telling me is you handed the keys to a starter that was miles away from getting beat out by Daniel Jones?
Yeah.
That's a failure on your behalf. Either you suck at developing the guy, or you suck at your determination of whether or not he was able to play, or you suck at your decision-making on whether or not he should start. Either way, you failed the guy. So don't blame me. Don't sit here and shoot the messenger. We're simply asking the question that the fans and the people that you're asking to spend money on tickets want to know. And if you're unhappy with the fact that people are unhappy about that, then do better.
Yeah, you're not wrong. And Stephen Holder, to say that doesn't make sense, that's a blunt way to put it, but he's right. Like, the plan doesn't make sense. You say that he needs reps, he's got to play, so he starts right away as a rookie. And then last year, well, he's got to sit and watch, right? So you bench him, and he's got to learn from behind the scenes. And then 2 weeks later, he's playing again. And you're saying, well, he's ready. He's turned the corner. And now suddenly he's not ready again.
Right.
And so everybody in the room knows, like, look, you're making this up as you go along. Like,
right.
there's no, your plan keeps failing here over and over again. So to just give an explanation and be like, well, I explained it to you already. Well, your explanation sucks. It doesn't make sense. And I think that's why it was combative at the press conference. I mean, it was nothing is ever going to compare to the Jim Irsay, Jeff Saturday press conference from 2022. That was the most unhinged and combative and arrogant that I've ever seen anybody before. You know, God rest his soul, Jim Irsay. But that's one that you wish, if you were him, you probably wish that you had back. Because, we rewatched it now, it's aged terribly, right? Because he acted like he was the smartest guy in the room, and of course the Saturday decision was a complete fiasco and disaster. But it was about as close to that as a Colts press conference that I've seen.
By the way, when Jeff Saturday took over, they did win the first game, did they not?
Yeah, they beat the Raiders.
So the Raiders now are the answer to 2 trivia questions.
Yeah, I guess
right?
So. Yeah. And let me say, I do think, and especially with the Colts not shifting it out, you know, everybody was kind of hard on Saturday. He was put in an impossible position. It was just a very, very difficult position for him to be in. But I think it was the case of Irsay coming in and being like, I'm smarter than everybody. This is going to work. And here's why, because I've been around football and you haven't, and
Derek,
it didn't work.
And let me say this. I realize that there's a lot of debate, and it's fair on both sides. I totally understand it. The Washington Post article that came out since we have been with everybody last regarding the health of Jim Irsay and the demons of Jim Irsay in the last 2 years of his life. And multiple, you know, when Jim Irsay had an overdose in Carmel in, I believe, December of 23, not long after that, I was told, several people were told, that there was a second one that took place in the state of Florida. And because of HIPAA laws and other such things, and I understand and respect this, it's difficult to be able to verify those things, and therefore you don't share them per se. And I know that now that Jim Irsay, who was a kind-hearted at his core soul, that was philanthropic to the community and et cetera, I understand all of those things. And when the Washington Post came out with this article about the struggles that Jim Irsay had late in his life, there were a lot of people that asked the question of, do we need to know this? He's gone now. He's not here to defend himself. Why are they just now doing this? And I think those are all fair questions, and I'm not saying that I side one way or the other on this. I'm simply presenting this as a state of fact or explanation. I think there is a line of thought that Jim Irsay's health, even retroactively, and the examination of it is fair public game or fair for public knowledge because of the fact that he and his corporation were so widely publicly subsidized. And as a result of that, the organization owed it or owes it, moving forward still, to the people and the taxpayers of Indianapolis to be transparent about what's happening at the top of the franchise, because it is entrusted by the people within the taxpayer base of Indianapolis that the decisions being made about that organization are being made with clarity. And while I don't know this, you could certainly look at decisions like that, Derek, and question whether or not they were taking place with clarity. And if they were not, then did the organization owe better transparency to the taxpayers? I am simply saying that as that is the reasoning why people would find that story to still be pertinent posthumously. It is up for others to determine whether or not that is accurate or inaccurate. But that is simply the explanation.
Yeah, the Washington Post, sadly, the Washington Post article was nothing that people behind the scenes didn't already know. People knew that Jim Irsay wasn't dealing with a respiratory illness, whatever the Colts publicly said that it was. But Jake, at the end of the day, it's for his daughters, it's your dad.
Understood.
Like, do I want to air out what's happening here that's in the throes of addiction and
I understand
is
that.
crumbling? But it brings up an interesting point, like you mentioned. What is our right to know as the general public? What do we have the right to know? Taxpayer money goes to this team, right? Jim Irsay is a public entity. But how deep does that go? And I don't know the answer to that.
Right.
I don't know. And honestly, I was uncomfortable reading it because even if I had an idea of what was happening, and we're told, we talked to some of the same people, just to kind of read it laid out all in black and white, it's difficult. It actually reminded me of what Michael Jackson was going through in his final years.
And I also wonder, I have nothing to base this on other than, oftentimes I overthink things. I wonder if there could not be potential future litigation that comes out of some of the names that were involved in that story. And I don't mean anybody related to the Colts.
Yeah. And I think what else I didn't like, and I understand that they've got to get clicks. If Washington Post wanted to sell that as, we talked to people who wanted to go on record because they want to hold this doctor accountable, that's fine. They did not present it as an article that was holding a doctor accountable. This was all about bombshell Jim Irsay, drug addict, throes of addiction. Like, this was National Enquirer stuff. And I'm not just saying that because I'm in Indianapolis and I'm being defensive about Irsay and the Colts. I just, he is dead and gone, and it is his daughters. And at the end of the day, I don't know what we gain from knowing all of that, too.
Right.
That's the other thing. But it's just, the whole thing is sad. I will say this. As great of a heart as he had and as respected as he was, just the whole story around it and all the skeletons in the closet, it does make me a little bit uncomfortable lionizing the guy. I'm not ready to, and there's going to be a lot of remembrances and JI patches, fine, whatever. But the whole lionize, icon. Yeah, I mean, I guess he was an icon, but maybe the beauty of Jim Irsay is that he was distinctly human.
Yeah.
He had the same mental health issues, and a lot of people have addiction issues. And this is a guy that has his own jet and billions of dollars worth of guitars, and he owns a football team, and he basically owns a stadium. Yet he's still dealt with the same struggles that John Q. Taxpayer deals with.
But by the way,
I think maybe that's the legacy,
I want to be clear here. I don't agree with that where it says on the font Washington Post didn't do any journalism. I disagree with that. I think they did journalism in finding out and confirming a lot of news information that others could not find out, and they didn't. None of what they said was hearsay. It was all factually based.
Yeah, and people nationally probably didn't know a lot of this stuff,
right?
Whereas people here did, sadly, because word gets around.
But verifying it via HIPAA and those things is not the easiest thing to do, and they did go the extra steps somehow to do it. I think I know who their source was, but they had someone that was able to verify what had been hearsay. And so, you can discuss until the cows come home. You can discuss forever the necessity of that article. But I'm simply pointing out why the case, if you were handed the high school debate card assignment to discuss why the Washington Post article was legitimate or necessary, I'm presenting that case.
Yeah.
That's all.
You can never write the full story on Jim Irsay. It's just impossible.
That's true.
To do because there's just so much involved with that, and this is just maybe the last chapter. Maybe it won't be the last chapter. Maybe more will emerge. I don't know.
I saw your picture on a poster.
Yeah.
On a flyer.
Did you happen to see that? Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I saw it too.
In promotion, I don't know what Kristina's doing at Hoagies and Hops with their September 13th Hoagies and Hops hoagie eating competition, but they chose Derek to put in it.
They sure did.
I don't think it was intentional. Your bald spot was very noticeable in the photo.
Well, I was leaning over and the sun was. It's not really a bald spot. It's just when the sun shines right on it, it's lighter hair up there. But yeah, she used me. She had actually reached out to Josh. Is this okay? Because I have to queer it with my representation, name, image, likeness, the whole deal, just like a college athlete. And I said, no, just waive my, I usually have a fee that's associated with that. Like if you want to use the Derek Schultz name, Derek Schultz face, Derek Schultz voice, if you want to utilize Derek Schultz assets, then Schultz Media LLC is supposed to get there's a standard like clearance fee where I sign off and I say it's okay to use Derek Schultz in blank capacity. But with Kristina, she can use Derek Schultz as much as she wants for free. No problem. That's how much I love
that's
Hoagies
very
and Hops
kind of you.
and Chili Water Brewing. This is not the sando that we're going to be eating on September 13th. That'll be a Hog Island. But this is one of my favorites that they have for our Hoagie and Hero of the Week from Hoagies and Hops. Keystone. So you have roast beef, London broil. I think I've told this on the show before. In middle school, Madison Middle School, Trumbull, Connecticut, we had one of the cafeteria ladies that would hand out the sandwiches, turkey and roast beef. You tell her which one you want. And you go, turkey, and she go, turkey. And then you go, roast beef, and you go, roast beef. So I always just say roast beef because, I don't know, it reminds me of
What was her name?
Nobody knew. Provolone, roast beef, London broil. It's delicious. Little horsey mayo. Oh, I'm losing lettuce. Little L, little T. No frills. Delicious.
It is fabulous.
And
Provolone.
Little provolone. You warmed this up, right?
That's fabulous.
Really good. Chili Water Brew. Don't want to forget about that. Built to last, one of their core beers. You already cracked yours, didn't you? Mm-hmm. Really, really good. Just a German Pilsner.
Oh, I look forward, Derek, to having
great late summer, early fall beer.
I look forward to having one of these on September 13th, watching you in the Hoagies and Hops Hoagie eating competition.
We have a segment coming up. We went into Hoagies and Hops with Kristina earlier this week. I taped a segment, which we'll play coming up a little bit later on the show. But thanks to our friends at Chili Water Brewing and the Built to Last Hero of the Week. So there was a YouTube commenter who, we talked about Ryan Day last week, right? And he gave me a hard time. You said, I think something like, name the top college coaches. And I was like, well, Ryan Day is a guy that, is a Corvette driver that's driving a Lamborghini, right? And to some extent, I don't know. I haven't come all the way off that take. But if you look at what Ohio State has done since losing that game to Michigan, where a lot of people, including me, felt like, oh, my God, you have to fire him. Like, you can't come back from this. Crushing Tennessee, crushing Oregon, beating Texas now twice, and then beating Notre Dame and winning the national championship. I can't imagine there has been a better 5-game run in college football history than that. I mean, you're talking all top 5. Tennessee's more like top 10, but you're talking basically all top 4 or 5 teams there. And absolutely credible. I mean, and he has to get some credit for that. Like, Ohio State is the best program in the country. I'm not just saying that because they're the defending national champion. I've felt that way for years. I've really felt that way even when Nick Saban was still at Alabama. I think Ohio State is the best job, the best program in the country. And so there's really been no excuse for Day not to have them up to that snuff. But he replaced a guy that was a machine in Urban Meyer and has gone through the rigors of the fan base and the message boards and all of that. And I don't know if he's accepted yet. I'm not sure if he'll ever be fully accepted by everybody because I think there will always be that viewpoint that he's just a Corvette driver that's driving a Ferrari. But, man, you can't get much better than what he's done here.
Fair. I'm not a fan, but fair. I mean,
I'm not a fan either, but
I know nothing of the guy.
The YouTube commenter is right. I mean, if you're naming the top coaches and you're just talking track record, and his record's what, like 80-10 or something, right? I mean, overall, at Ohio State, you're not judged by beating Minnesota and Northwestern and teams like that. You're judged by beating Texas and Notre Dame and Penn State, and they're beating all those teams.
Do you want to know a question I thought of?
What's that? And I guess you eventually have to beat Michigan again at some point.
You have a few minutes to think about this, and then at some point in the show, I want you to give me your answer.
All right.
Give me the Power 5 university, but it has to be a public state university. Okay? Give me a Power 5 athletic program. It's a big program that has a college football and basketball team that occasionally makes the tournament, goes to a bowl game, whatever. That if you are in the Dallas-Fort Worth airport and you see somebody wearing a T-shirt of this school, you automatically say to yourself, that guy clearly is from there because there would be no other reason that someone would be a fan of that school.
Or they clearly went there?
Or they went there.
Yeah.
Give me the poster child of that university.
All right, I'll think on it.
You see somebody wearing a Kentucky shirt, Jason Bush.
Yeah, could be anybody. They never stepped foot at UK.
Right.
Yeah, or Notre
Clemson.
Notre
I mean,
Dame,
I'm a Clemson
Ohio
fan.
State.
I have nothing to, I wear
The big
Clemson. Oh, you're a
brands.
Clemson
Yeah.
fan? But the one where you look at it and you go, well, you had to go to school there, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
I think I've got a good one for that. Actually, I think the poster child is not too far from here, but
The sandwich is fabulous.
I've got another good one too. 42nd and Boulevard, Hoagies and Hops, Chili Water Tap Room. Grab yourself a Built to Last. They've always got that thing on tap. And a Keystone Hoagie eating contest September 13th. I think still a handful of spots left, but our conversation with Kristina will come your way next. When we return on the show, we will talk some college football and also get our quick hits in. It's Query and Schultz Season 6 debut here on the ISC Sports Network.
Hey, AC, which games are we going to tonight?
You know we cover all sports in Central Indiana. Hop in. It's going to be a long night.
Bailey & Wood Mortgage Lender, proud partner of News 8 Sports Hummer.
Hey, AC,
Nice snap.
mortgage is a snap. Duh.
Bailey & Wood, a lending hand for Wish TV Sports.
Welcome back. Bailey & Wood presents Query and Schultz. ISC Sports Network. He's Jake. I'm Derek. Got to get some horsey mayo
That sandwich is great.
off my upper lip there. Delicious. College football rundown. All teams in action for opening week. And I think a little bit of a mixed bag. I think it was mostly good. When you talk about IU, Purdue, and Notre Dame, I think it was mostly good. Let's start with Indiana. They put up 500 yards of offense, and I know that you look at the score and you're like, all right, they beat Old Dominion by 13 points. They beat a Sunbelt team, like whatever. If you really dive into the box score, they pretty much had their way with them. It's just their own. I think they got in their own way. I think the issue is
Chunk
that
yardage on the ground.
if you're going to schedule these games, you got to dunk on these teams.
Right.
And they didn't quite get dunky enough. Also, if you look at IU's last two games, IU fans were trying to talk you into, hey, they only lost by 10 at Notre Dame. When really that was a 27-3 game with 3.5 minutes left and they had two onside kicks, right? And then in this case, it's a 13-point win. They're like, whoa. It's a 13-point win, but look at the box score. I mean, they dominated the game. It's like, well, which is it, guys? So there's got to be some consistency there. But I think, again, I think IU's going to be fine. I think they've got a great shot to go 10-2. I think they're going to go 9-3.
I would agree with that. I think Mendoza would have liked to have had better rhythm.
Yeah.
I think their run defense at times was concerning. But outside of that, it's hard to gauge, right?
Yeah, it's hard.
And if you look, Derek, here's the thing in the world that we live in now. It's hard to know because so many Power 5 schools have so many new faces, or they lost faces that took NIL elsewhere, and then smaller schools maybe have a player or two that they got in due to an NIL, or they have players that are playing for their own NIL contract elsewhere, and so there are a lot of schools, a lot of big time. There were very few week one. You usually see oh my gosh, somebody won 63-3 and 72. You didn't see as much of that at all.
No.
I mean, it was, and even with some of what we think are going to be the playoff caliber teams, Clemson loses to LSU, Notre Dame loses to Miami, Texas loses to Ohio State. Does that really hurt those teams? It makes it for you to not be able to afford to stub your toe. Clemson can't go out now in the regular season and lose to South Carolina. But if they mind their P's and Q's, if Ohio State, or excuse me, if Texas is going to have plenty of opportunities to put together big wins.
They're going to have 100 chances, in that league. So they're fine. I think what it does is, let's flip it over. what it does for Ohio State and for LSU and Miami is it gives you a big feather in the cap.
For sure.
And now, you're really sitting in the catbird seat because you've got a big leg up on everybody else. But yeah, I agree with you. I mean, even at 10-2, let's say Indiana hypothetically loses to Penn State and Oregon, both on the road, they can still go to the committee with that. I don't think that's going to be enough to get them in, but you can still go to the committee and say, if they crush everybody else,
right,
that they'll have a good chance there. Yeah, Mendoza, I thought, looked he's just not as polished as Curtis Rourke was.
Yeah.
Right? Even though
Rourke
he has
was
a much higher ceiling.
When Rourke would get in rhythm.
Yeah. But Rourke was a finished product already when he came here. I think
Yeah.
Mendoza is still growing into himself.
He's on that Mendoza line.
Purdue knocking off Ball State 31-0. Any win for Purdue feels like a positive step forward. You could tell they were much better prepared and coached in that game. Ryan Brown looked, and I've been kind of low man on Ryan Brown. Looked pretty good. Yeah, he was efficient. I mean, Ball State is in rebuild mode, right, with a new coach, and they're kind of finding their way, but still, I think you take that for Purdue, and now you feel really good about them starting 2-0, and I don't know, maybe Purdue can get to 4 or 5 wins, honestly. I mean, Rutgers, Northwestern, and Minnesota all look like crap in week 1. You got 2 of those 3 on the road, but that's the stretch that everybody's talking about where Purdue's going to have a chance to get some wins because the rest of the schedule is, difficult the rest of the way. And then, I don't know, you tell me if you agree. I'm just kind of like whatever with the Notre Dame loss. They played pretty well. I think Miami's pretty good. You're on the road. You lost by 3.
I think, Derek, that's going to come down to, at the end of the year, we're going to look back at that game as one of 2 things. We're either going to look back and say, that really was a totally non-egregious loss by Notre Dame because look how good they are and look at Miami. Or we're going to look back and say, you remember when we thought that was going to be 2 top 10 teams?
Yeah, like Texas Notre Dame. Remember that game from back, I think was it Sam Ellinger?
Yeah.
Back in that day?
I mean,
Deshaun Kaiser, and it was an overtime game or whatever. And both of those teams went in the tank.
I thought they got that last drive. I mean, I thought Carr looked, he's going to be a very good player for them, no question. And, Miami's got veteran leadership at quarterback. I know he hasn't been at Miami forever, but Beck is a veteran player that's been in big moments.
Yeah.
And
we were in the same high school class, Carson
got,
Beck and me.
Probably right.
Yeah, he's like 42.
You're probably right. And they got some stud receivers. I mean, they have playmakers, does Miami.
Miami, like USC's like that. It doesn't matter if they have 5 wins or 10 wins. They've always got dudes at receiver. Doesn't it feel that way? Like USC's always got sometimes they can't figure out quarterback, but they've always got like 2 first-round picks.
Right.
On each side.
2 first-round picks that go to Detroit and are going to fizzle out.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever happened to Dwayne Jarrett?
Yeah. A lot of those guys. Hey, Michael Pittman Jr. is actually one of the better ones
you're right.
to come from SC and really kind of come through. So, I mean, the margin for error is now 0 because if Notre Dame turns around and loses to A&M, then it's a big problem.
Speaking of SC, they don't play in this stadium, but I'm going to be in the Rose Bowl Saturday. You ever been to the Rose Bowl?
Never. For what? A concert?
Yep.
Cool. Who? Oasis?
Yes.
They just did Soldier Field, right? Weren't they just in Chicago? Or did they do Soldier Field, or did they do somewhere else?
Soldier
in Chicago?
Field, New York, and now they're going to L.A.
Yeah.
To the Rose Bowl. I wanted to see the Rose Bowl as much as anything.
Yeah, that's
I'm
cool.
actually, you'll like this, Derek.
I'm surprised. Rose Bowl for Oasis? I mean, I guess the State Fair calendar's over now for everybody.
Mm-hmm. Saturday, on Saturday, before I go to the concert itself, I'm super excited about this. I'm going to the Manson Family Cave.
Oh, God.
On Spawn Ranch, where the Manson family, there's a famous photo from Life magazine, I think it was, of the Manson family and all of them living underneath the cave where they carved Manson family into the cave itself, and that's still there.
So I don't think we really learned anything this week
from there?
in college football very much. I still don't know who the top teams are. I mean, you have to give it to Ohio State, right? And you've got to give LSU their flowers and Miami their flowers, but I don't know if we learned anything. The ACC was both good and bad, right? The ACC had some teams had some big wins, Miami and FSU.
Florida State, baby. ACC.
I'll say this about Alabama. We have to stop pretending that they're something that they're not anymore. Like, we can't Alabama is the ultimate rest on their laurels team, and maybe they deserve it. It was one of the
it's been
great
like 3
dynasty
years.
in sports, but come on, like
been like 3 years.
enough. But like Vegas making them a 17-point favorite in every game, guys. This is not your older brother's
That's fair.
Alabama anymore. They do not deserve your benefit of the doubt, and that's why I was vociferous in defending Indiana's
Tennessee good?
inclusion in the playoff.
Is Tennessee good?
I have no idea. Tennessee to me is the ultimate 10-2 team. They're going to hit their head up against the glass
Okay,
ceiling.
so go ahead and give me your team that if you see somebody in the airport wearing a sweatshirt of this school, you're like, so you went to school there?
I mean, a team that I thought of here because I think if you really dig into it, their athletic history is really not very good in football or men's basketball, but there's a lot of pride. South Carolina is one that I thought of.
Okay, that's a good one.
I think Purdue is one. I don't think Purdue and Michigan State to me are the two poster children for this. If you graduated from those programs, I think you went
Derek,
there.
I think there are people, though. I mean, there are kids, certainly, and 10 years ago. I mean, I know Torian. Torian's a Michigan State fan.
Is it okay?
Yeah. Because, like, Izzo had him rolling in Mateen Cleaves. And
I just think of the whole Walmart Wolverines where,
I get it.
yeah, you go to Walmart, you're wearing the Michigan shirt because you went to Walmart and got it. You wear the Michigan State shirt because you went there.
To me, the poster child for me is Minnesota. Very South Carolina-esque, but Minnesota. You see somebody wearing a Minnesota T-shirt, don't you automatically say, like, so what part of the
I do
which
think
lake do you live near?
This works less for public big state universities than it does for if you included privates. Because I think there are some private schools, like Boston College to me is, if you're wearing BC stuff, you went there. Am I wrong?
No, I wear it because I love the fact that they beat Notre Dame in '93.
Okay, well, you're a weirdo. You have, I bet you have a Division I shirt from every college somewhere in your
Close.
hoarder's paradise in that 2-bedroom apartment where you live, where you've saved everything. You've got all kinds of random crap.
I've downsized a lot of stuff.
And every time that we went somewhere, like, remember we were in Atlanta, you were like, let's go to Georgia Tech because I got to get the shirt, or let's go to wherever
That's
else.
right.
Let's go to UTSA because I got to get the shirt. Yeah, but those would be my answers.
That San Antonio trip, I blacked out. That was a lot of PTSD from that trip.
That was great. We laughed, we cried, we embraced.
No, that was when you ironed my clothing.
It was actually nice that was one of our last trips together because it allowed us to, I think we both knew, but we had never actually told one another how we feel about each other. Yeah. Like that's what was really special.
I just remember that you had
trip.
too many drinks and then you came back and wanted to watch a marathon of Jersey Shore.
That's right. Yeah. Well, that beer tap was broken. Remember they got you that like skunky beer?
I do remember
and
that.
so I was tying one on, and Jake had like half of his, and he's like, "This isn't right." And I'm like, "Well, what's the problem, bud? What's wrong with yours?"
I do remember that.
Yeah, it's fun. Riverwalk is a beautiful night.
Good memory there.
It's a beautiful night. Let's get to quick hits. Congratulations to the U.S. Nationals winners. Justin Ashley won the Top Fuel crown. Austin Prock in Funny Car. Erica Enders continues her dominance in Pro Stock. And Gage Herrera in Motor. Those motorcycle dudes are freaking insane.
All of it's insane.
Freaking
US
insane
Nationals
to me.
is awesome. NHRA out there is awesome. Congratulations to everybody involved because it's a great event.
Tony Stewart finished runner-up, but the regular season Top Fuel champion, so he'll be the top seed for the countdown to the championship, which goes on now after the Nats. Florida State was the first ACC school to get the rush of the field fine. Did you see this?
Yeah, $50,000, right?
Yeah, which doesn't seem like anything.
Taylor Tannenbaum's paying that out of pocket.
She probably she probably would for her Knowles. Totally worth it, by the way. You field stormed before?
No, I'm not 10.
I have field stormed and court stormed, and it's great.
You field stormed by yourself,
There were like 20 other people.
and then the court storm was when?
That was at a Notre Dame basketball game. I never got to court storm at IU.
Can I guess who Notre Dame beat?
Yeah, we just mentioned them.
Are they an ACC power? Florida State.
No, I mean, this was the Big East days.
Oh, Big East days. Okay.
This was 25 years ago. Exactly. Troy Murphy was on the team.
Oh, you know what?
Matt Carroll.
I was on the team when Troy Murphy got beat I was at the game, I should say, when they got beat by Ole Miss in the first NCAA tournament win in Ole Miss history.
Wow.
But I digress. Or first Sweet 16 maybe in Ole Miss history. Okay, a Big East team that Boston College.
Yep.
Why did you rush the court in a win?
It was for
Boston
first
College?
place in the Big East. Troy Bell and Boston College, and they won on a buzzer beater. I think it was
Bill Curley there.
Martine Inglesby hit a buzzer beater in there.
Bill Curley there.
This would have been after Bill Curley and Howard Isley. Who was the other kid? Craig
Derek,
Smith, I think, might have been
Do you want
there.
my quick hits real
BC
quick?
had a run of decent teams there, early 2000s.
Do you want my IndyCar quick hit?
Yeah.
By the time this airs, a lot of this might already be out there and confirmed. It might be right now as we're recording this on Tuesday morning. I don't know. I'm not saying any of this is factually concrete, but I'm just going to tell you what I've heard, okay? In talking to several people over the course of the weekend in Nashville, at the time that I left Nashville to come here, basically it was verified to me with a wink by someone who would absolutely know that Colton Herta is leaving Andretti Global from the IndyCar side to go over to F2. That job that he will vacate, that seat that he will vacate, will most likely be filled by Will Power, because Will Power's ride in the 12 car is going to be filled by David Malukas. Then that raises the question of who gets the 4 car that David Malukas was driving. The likely contender for that is going to be Rinus VeeKay. Rinus VeeKay, who Dale Coyne would like to get back, who Todd Alt is now sponsoring, but they don't want to pay him what VeeKay wants. VeeKay is most likely to go to the 4 car, which keeps together the connection with Roger Penske's group, because Penske does like VeeKay a lot, and the timing has just never been there for him to secure him. Then you raise the question of who gets the ride in Dale Coyne's team, and that likely is going to be either Dennis Hauger, who is the Indy Next champion, unless Dennis Hauger ends up taking a seat that is prematurely vacated by Marcus Ericsson. If it's not Dennis Hauger, then Romain Grosjean could return if Grosjean doesn't go to Prema Racing, which may merge with Juncos Hollinger Racing. There you go.
Wow. Domino effect of silly season, right? We're
Correct.
Just like,
Correct.
I'm all going down there. Last quick hit. A Tennessee man named Babe Ruth is facing charges alleging that he used the names of hundreds of dead or retired pro baseball players to make phony claims for playouts and class action settlements. Not a bad idea. George Herman Ruth is charged with 91 counts in the indictment handed down in the U.S. District Court in Tennessee on August 12th. The 69-year-old from Morristown, Tennessee, is charged with mail fraud, aggravated identity theft, fraudulent use of Social Security numbers, money laundering, making false claims to his probation officer, and possessing firearms. So he had guns, too, just as a kicker.
I'm confused what he did.
He obtained or attempted to obtain more than $500,000 through schemes of using old baseball or retired baseball player names to make phony claims for class action settlements. So you know how there's
who had a class action settlement against Babe Ruth, and so
do you remember you ever get this? I got something from the government the other day that was like, hey, you have unclaimed funds, and I thought this is a scam or whatever. But I called and they're like, no, like you really do have unclaimed funds. It was like an old State Farm insurance check that I don't know if they mailed to me or whatever. It was from 2018, and I actually just cashed it. It was great. I went out to lunch. It's like $70, whatever. But I think that's what this is. So he was jumping in on things like, I don't know.
So, like, when you get those things in the mail, like, if you were a customer of Purple Leader Juice,
yeah,
you might be
if
entitled
you were
to a
exposed
class.
to Agent Orange. And George Herman Ruth's like, yep, that was me.
Is his name really George Herman Ruth?
That's his legal name.
And so he said he was Babe, and then he decided that he was going to be other players. Doesn't it say he was other players too?
I think they just look for, it's like news of the weird type things, and they find this stuff. At least it's not butt sniffer guy. Remember we had the butt sniffing, the BSB, butt sniffing bandit, last week on the show. That was a difficult topic to discuss. The guy that was, I think he was at a Burlington coat factory. Instead of getting a coat, he was sniffing butts. We come back on the show. Kristina from Hoagies and Hops. That's a great transition, right? Going to join us. We taped a segment in her shop,
I'd like
42nd
to apologize
and Boulevard.
to Kristina and to IU Indy as well.
We have our Jags report. Don't miss that coming up, too. And Biter Bowl Bleep still to come. But next, Jake, me, Kristina, and we'll come back in studio to wrap things up here on Corey and Schultz, presented by Bailey & Wood Financial Group on the ISC Sports Network.
At Bailey & Wood,
Welcome back to Query and Schultz on the ISC Sports Network. I'm Jake Query. That is
Derek Schultz, hi.
And of course, you know where we are, Derek. It's home away from home, right?
Perfect.
Literally home away from home.
Southwestern edge of Midtown.
I feel like I need a Phillies hat.
Inside the Lions Den here, Hoagies and Hops with Kristina, who is the owner, the Grand Poobah.
Hello.
Who's your all-time favorite Philly?
Mike Schmidt.
It's gotta be.
It's gotta be.
I told this story before. I don't know if I've told you this. So I have cousins that are in Cooperstown, and we'd go to every Hall of Fame weekend. 1995 Hall of Fame weekend, Mike Schmidt's induction. He was golfing out on the Cooperstown golf course, and my uncle was a member, and we went out on the tee box, and he signed a baseball for me, and then I was looking at the baseball, stepped on a bee's nest, got stung 15 times in my head. So that's my Mike Schmidt story.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I like Mike Schmidt now too.
Oh, see?
He's my favorite player.
I have a couple signed things. My customers have dropped off a lot of fun, like, swag.
It's Phillypolis. That's what I love about it. I also love the fact, Kristina, that we do this every year. It is a tradition like no other. And that is, you have once again helping out, and this is the best part about it, helping veterans and families, helping out with food pantries, and all raising money at Hoagies and Hops. It's like the kickoff of autumn to an extent. It is your annual hoagie eating contest.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I mean, I'd be on 10 if it wasn't for COVID. So it's 9 years of the
10.
Hoagie.
But then next year we'll do
10-year anniversary, 9th hoagie eating contest. That's fine.
But yeah, I've actually had the one guy, the fella that started with me, he won the first 3 years. He's actually on his 9th one. I'm gonna give him a little plaque this year. I mean, I think he deserves it. He's been to every hoagie contest. But yeah, this one's extra special because we're also pairing it with our 10-year anniversary.
Awesome.
And so we'll be raising money for the Hoosier veterans. So it's helping veterans and families, HVAP of Indiana, same organization we have worked with for the past 9 to 10 years. Plus, we're going to be collecting non-perishables for the food pantry across the street, because after the hoagie contest from 4 to 6, we're going to have live music over there. They've been kind enough to allow us to use their area. We're also going to have Rita's Water Ice. Those who know Zaire Franklin, who is also from North Philly, a good friend of mine, he actually just franchised out of Rita's, and so they're going to have their water ice right outside. Yeah, so that's going to be fun.
Best sandwich on the menu.
Yes, well, if you like yellow mustard and ketchup and mayo on your cheesesteaks, yes.
It's the Zaire. That's the one to go with. Derek never picks that up.
I can't do the ketchup on the cheesesteak. It's sacrilege. So the hoagie eating contest is essentially going to turn into a block party. Right afterwards.
In a way.
For the most part.
So it's definitely family friendly. Yes.
I mean, when you show up, because you get this is what I love about it. You get the same regulars. Oftentimes, they probably know that they have no chance, of winning the contest.
No one has any chance against Corn. Is he doing it again?
As of right now,
that dude is a machine.
Okay, so there you go. Yeah. So it's wide open this year,
yes,
right?
Yes, everyone has a chance.
Darren's got a chance.
Greg
Poley's got a chance. But the whole patio is always full. The weather's always perfect.
Yeah.
And it's just fun. I mean, it literally is guys and gals that are just kind of celebrating everything that is Hoagies and Hops, which is all about community, neighborhood, and goes without saying, great sandwiches, even with ketchup on.
By the way, did you notice anything about the flyer? Your hands are covering them up right now. You notice anything about the flyer?
Oh.
Hold on.
I'm surprised
is there
it took you that
anything
long.
special in there?
I'd like to apologize to the Hoagies and Hops customers. If you were coming out and you were getting a Zaire, which is fabulous, and it's got a big glob of ketchup right there, and you take a bite, that ketchup falls right there.
Look at that. Look at that handsome guy.
Look at the size of that head.
Housing it down.
You right there. You look like you are about to recycle.
You know what? And generally, when I have name, image, likeness, stuff like that, my lawyer Josh gets involved. But for Kristina, I waived all that stuff. I said I am happy to be on any promotional materials for Hoagies and Hops, because that's how much I love this.
You have image and likeness. You have zero name. Just so you know.
Kristina, how do we get Jake to do this contest?
Probably get rid of the oil, which is not happening.
You have to have the oil.
But I don't know. I think you need to show up. You know what? I bet you if he does it, he'll win. He'll be that guy. He'll be that guy.
You are the fastest drinker that I've, and I don't mean that Jake's a lush or anything. You go out and have one beer, but he finishes it in 2 seconds, 2 sips.
I consume
and he's done with a full pint
in rapid form.
It's wild. So I don't know if you're like that with food anyway, but we need to do that.
Maybe you'll find out.
We need to do that at some point.
I think we need to, because I want to have 30 people, and right now I only have about 5 spots left. Okay. So one is calling your name.
September 13th.
Yes,
right?
September 13th, 42nd and Boulevard, hoagiesandhops.com. You can also follow us on social media. Facebook, Instagram. I keep all that stuff updated. 10% of our sales that day going to HVAF of Indiana, helping our Hoosier veterans. We're collecting non-perishables. Also, my puppy made some dog treats to share, so we're going to be selling Leo's homemade dog cookies, and they're going to go down. They're going to go to Hound Song. The sales are going to go to Hound Song Rescue, which is actually the rescue and foster where I adopted my dog a couple years ago.
That's awesome.
So so we have a lot going on that day. We're also going to be tie-dyeing 10-year anniversary T-shirts. That'll be $20. We'll be doing that across the street as well, and it's $25 to enter.
Did you ever think? I've asked you this before, but in all honesty, when you opened this place and you wanted to bring kind of and you had been in Indy for a while, but you grew up in Philly, you grew up in that area, you wanted to bring a taste of that here. Did you ever think that you'd be here at the point where it was 10 years and you'd have all these friends that, this establishment, Hoagies and Hops, at 42nd and Boulevard, is a friend to virtually everybody that comes in.
Yeah, the broom closet at Flat 12, no offense to that, because I thought it was a cool place, to this
Here.
now.
I never knew. The move was definitely the best thing I ever did.
Mm-hmm.
Also, running the 6 restaurants that I did to start my own thing, not knowing if other people were going to be, just like me, transplants from the East Coast, missing all the food, having it shipped in, or brought in from my friends and family to, that's
Right,
why I did it. I never realized that many people, and the amount of people who never knew what a hoagie was. So it's been a lot of fun, not just making the food, but teaching Indiana and other people what the special cuisine is, Pennsylvania Dutch food, what a real cheesesteak is, the Italian hoagie, and why it means so much.
Can you let Derek know that it would also be beneficial to your brand to let people know about that when he starts talking about it after he has not had a mouthful of food?
You bites.
Yeah.
That's the best part
But
about it, is the authentic
you do a
experience.
great job chiming in. I've been noticing that. I like that. I feel like you really show your support when he starts to, when his mouth is full of
Well,
the goodness,
usually I'm condemning
you
him
jump
for not showing better tact.
Yeah,
because
but then
you merit better tact, right? Somebody's gotta keep
I do need to bring up though, Darren and Greg Cooley are both helping me sponsor. It was Darren's idea, Darren King, of trying to do like a second and third place. So we're gonna actually have, for the first time ever, 3 placed winners during the Hoagie contest. Thank you to Darren and Greg.
I'm just trying to podium, Jake. That's all I want to do. I just want to be on the podium. Corn's going to do it, because this is what happened last year. Corn said, I'm not going to do it, and then he showed up that morning.
Well, he's about to have his second baby, and it should be happening right around that time. So but then again, I wouldn't pass Corn to just show up either.
There was a kid that did it last year that ate it in 5 or 6 minutes.
Adam.
It was really impressive.
He was our second
Yeah,
place. He is doing it again.
Okay.
Well, the one thing, because I always observe, right? The one thing I do notice is that everybody participating, it becomes very clear very early on that maybe you're not going to actually win the contest. But then people are like, but the sandwich is awesome.
It is.
Yeah. So they're just sitting there eating the sandwich, loving that and having fun with it. It's awesome.
And you don't
they're
have to
helping
destroy
out.
it. You can save the other half and eat it later. So, it goes to a good cause.
Helping veterans and families and the animals and everything. Right?
And I'll be happy to, for everything, if you guys happen to have a copy of this poster and you want it signed, I'm happy to do that, and also waive any
We do have
fees
3x5 flyers you can pass out.
3x5 is perfect. 2:30.
Waive any fees. You're not going to pay anybody to ask for your autograph? Is that what you're saying?
I've never done that. September 13th, live music following 4 to 6. Look, they got the Kelly Green for the Hoagies and Hops T-shirts. And Kristina, it's been awesome to have you as a partner on this show, and we can't wait for
I'm
September.
excited to be a part of it. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
You know the difference between Hoagies and Hops and the quarterback of your favorite team?
Ooh, I don't know this one.
Hoagies and Hops never hurts.
Ooh.
We'll cut that
Hurts
one out.
so good.
Hey, which games are we going to tonight?
You know we cover all sports in Central Indiana. Hop in. It's going to be a long night.
Bailey & Wood Mortgage Lender, proud partner of News 8 Sports Hummer.
Hey, AC!
Nice snap.
Mortgage is a snap! Duh!
Bailey & Wood, a lending hand for Wish TV Sports.
Welcome back. Final time. Query and Schultz, presented by Bailey & Wood Financial Group. Thanks to Kristina. Awesome as always. Love being in there.
By the way, the
42nd
willpower
Boulevard.
news is official.
Okay.
As I said, it would be. Every single thing that we do becomes official later, right?
Yeah, we are great at pre-talking about news that doesn't happen until right after Vince hits the stop button on the recording. Before we get to Bite or Bowl Bleep, welcome back to our friends at IU Indy, the Jags, and our Jags report. It is a new fall sports season, and the Jags underway. I had mentioned men's soccer. Let's start there. Big win at Butler for the Jaguars on Monday night, 1-0, their first win over the Bulldogs since 2011. They'll have their home opener a week from tonight, so next Tuesday against Northern Illinois. Jags off to a good start in non-conference play. They had 2 points, 2 road points, scoreless tie at Notre Dame, and they grabbed a road point at Bowling Green as well. So they are 1-1-2 so far this season. That was their first win against Butler. On the women's side, they picked up their first win last week. Congratulations to Angela Berry White, Eddie White's wife, who's had a long track record of soccer coaching success on both the
Derek,
prep level and other levels.
You're supposed to say it this way. Angela Berry White.
Oh, Barry White, like the singer? Mm-hmm. Well, it's Berry, like berries. Yeah.
Darling.
Jags beat ISU. You see it right here on the road, 3-0. They had goals from Olivia Hopper, Hannah Roberson, and Emma Antoine. IU Indy unfortunately fell short against Ball State, 1-0 on Sunday, but the Jags on the road the next few weeks. Their next home game will be the 14th when they host Toledo for their Champions for Literacy game. Fans that bring new or gently used books get a free ticket to the game for the book drive that they're putting on. And then last but not least, the Jaguars volleyball team off to a great start this season. They swept through the Buck Dome Invitational, went 3-0. They had an immaculate tournament. They swept all 3 teams. So 3 sets. Bang, bada bing, bada boom. IU Indy had back-to-back sweeps on Friday against the Citadel and Charlestown Southern. Freshman Jillian Tipman came out hot, double-digit kills in both of those matches. And then on Saturday, they finished the job beating Loyola, Maryland. My cousin Timmy went there in Baltimore. Really? Yeah. He loved it. Beat them in 3 sets as well to wrap up the invitational title. IU Indy's next volleyball game at Xavier on Thursday. He does something for Salesforce. You know those Salesforce guys, you never know what they actually do?
Wouldn't it be cool if you got an MD from Loyola MD?
And their home opener will be next week.
on both sides of it?
They went to Bloomington and won one of those Tom Crean games.
Yeah, that's right.
And we flew out the next day, and we saw them at the airport. I mean, they were flying commercial because we had to fly to Baltimore because that's our connection to get back east on Southwest. So we were on the same flight as the Loyola Maryland basketball team after they beat IU.
What are they? Loyola.
Ramblers. No. Ramblers is Illinois. I don't know. You want me to look it up?
Are the Loyolas all affiliated?
I have no idea. I don't think so.
I understand there's obviously a
Loyola Maryland mascot. Greyhounds.
Oh, really? Surprised they were flying. Think they'd taken a bus.
Iggy.
Excuse me?
Iggy is the name of their mascot. Iggy the Greyhound.
Okay.
I don't know why he's called Iggy. That doesn't seem to make a lot of sense to me. What does make sense is Jags fans can get their tickets to go see the Jags, iuindyjags.com/tickets. Season tickets on sale for all sports, which now includes swimming and diving. Basketball single-game tickets will go on sale later this fall, and we're happy to have them back on the show. Thanks to Luke and Lauren, Ed Holdaway, the rest of the crew over there with the Jags. Nice folks.
And they're part of the Horizon League, of course, right?
Part of the Horizon League, and Julie Orlash and Sean Sullivan and all our friends over at the Horizon League headquartered here. Let's get to Chateau Kitchens. Buy it or Bowl Bleep. Chateau Kitchens is in the business of in-home transformations. Whether you're looking at a kitchen, a bathroom, a basement, a wet bar, anything on the interior of your home, Chateau Kitchens can take care of that for you. At Chateau Kitchens on Instagram and Facebook for before and after photos of their latest projects. You guys know by now how we do this. I give a statement. Jake and I go back and forth whether we buy it or it's Bowl Bleep. Statement number 1. This game against Miami is perhaps the most important Colts game of the entire year. Buy it or Bowl Bleep?
No. I mean, that's total bullshit. You want to get off to a good start, but, I mean, there are going to be bigger games against Houston and Jacksonville. Anything in the division's automatically
Yeah,
bigger.
that's fair. I mean, I do think
it's important, but you know.
I would argue that this is, with what we know right now, they might play a December game that's a win-and-in game. I have no idea, right? We don't know how the season is going to play out. But with what we know right now, non-division category, this is their biggest game.
In the NFL,
non-division category.
In the NFL, the game on the schedule is the biggest game of the year. I get it, but no.
Non-division category, this is the biggest game of the year with what we know right now. But I have to say non-division category.
You are correct, though, Derek, in that this is a team that very plausibly they will be contending with for a playoff spot.
Yeah, and those tiebreakers can be important. And an AFC team, right? So the AFC record can be one of those tiebreakers that can be important as well. 4 Big Ten teams are going to make the college football playoff. Buy it or bull bleep?
4. No, it's bullshit. Ohio State, Oregon, Penn State.
Illinois?
Nah.
Indiana?
Nah. Nope.
Who else would even be in that mix?
Michigan?
Yeah, okay, yeah. They're ranked, right? Or Michigan
I
in the
think,
20
yeah.
somewhere or something? Yeah. I don't know anything about them this year.
Right.
I know they brought in that kid, that big NIL kid, right, that's making like, is it Underwood? I forgot. You know, the summer months, I don't know about anybody else, but for me now that I'm not 22 and watching everything anymore, I have to catch up on what's happening.
But when you were 22, you had larger obstacles in terms of short-term memory and things like that, right?
What do you mean?
Just outside forces.
Outside forces
Like
or
with- like
consumption forces?
Yeah, exactly.
Could be consumption. I actually didn't have a third one here. I don't know what happens with this document. I swear that I usually type it and hit save. And you got a third one?
Yeah.
Is his mic okay, Vince? He's got a stuffed Jaguar on it. Does it sound like crap? Okay.
No, it's fine.
No, he's shaking his head. He's saying it. Vince is mailed in. He doesn't even care. He doesn't care about the audio quality. He just wants to get out of here.
There. How's
He doesn't
that?
care about us. He doesn't care about the show.
Perfect. Right there.
Okay.
Perfect. My third one. You ready?
Yeah, hit me.
The Colts' total number of wins for the season will be at least 1/5 that of the Pacers.
Oh, God. You going to make me do math?
Yeah.
Well, the Pacers would be 45, right? So that'd be 9. Yeah, right? 9 times 5 is 45? Yeah.
Yeah.
No. I think the Pacers. I think the Colts are going to go 8-9.
Do you really?
Yeah, that's where I think they are.
10-7.
Yeah, okay.
10-7 for your Indianapolis
Colts.
Colts.
The Colts don't deserve the benefit of the doubt. I've given them the
10
benefit of the doubt in the past.
7, buddy.
Thanks to our great sponsors, Chateau Kitchens, of course. Our friends at Hoagies and Hops in Chili Water Tap Room, 42nd and Boulevard. Welcome back to IU Indy. IUIndyJags.com for tickets to their athletic events. And thank you, as always, to our presenting sponsors, Bailey & Wood Financial Group. Thank you to the ISC crew members who do care. We've got Brant back there. We've got Charlie back there. There are other people back there that are working the controls,
Rake.
too. Rake, sure. Jordan. Also,
Thank you to
Jake,
IU Indy for being back on board, by the way. I
I'm
love the
Derek,
Jag.
and we will see you next time here on Corey and Schultz, ISC Sports Network. So will Vince.
Go, Jags, go.
At Bailey & Wood, we